Hi, it's Michael, clinical psychologist from Grove Psychology. I was thinking the other day how anxiety is a little bit like the game we see at the arcades of whack-a-mole. And that's the game where you have to hit the little moles, or there might be crocodiles, or I think more recently the minions. They pop up, you whack them with a hammer, they pop down, you get points. And the aim of the game is to hit as many as possible. And the game speeds up over and over and over. And it's got me thinking about anxiety and how we tend to manage anxiety, not just as people ourselves, but as a society, where we see that these symptoms are uncomfortable, unpleasant, and something to be get rid of. And so we spend a lot of time and energy trying to get rid of anxiety through avoidance, through taking things, and what ends up happening is we're in this game of whack-a-mole. So let me explain this a bit more. We'll go through this. So what I mean by avoidance? Well, what I mean by that is procrastinating, avoiding making decisions, trying not to think about things that are causing you harm. We try to get rid of anxious thoughts and anxious symptoms. So we spend a lot of our time saying that anxiety is unpleasant, uncomfortable, it's dangerous, let's get rid of it. And so if we don't think about the things that make us feel anxious, then the symptoms go away. Or we take something, we drink, we smoke, we eat, it doesn't have to be drugs, it can be things that are pleasurable, in order to change our affect, to change the way that we're feeling about anxiety and the symptoms that we're experiencing. So the purpose, again, get rid of this, right? And what we end up engaging is a game like the whack-a-mole game. And if you've ever played that game, you can't win the game. The moles come up faster and faster and faster. The game goes faster and faster and faster until eventually you cannot keep up and you get as many points as you possibly can and the game ends. That's the same as anxiety. If we're not dealing with it, if we're not actually getting a sense of what the purpose of anxiety is, then we're doing all these things. Every time we distract ourselves or avoid a problem or use substances, we're whacking a mole, right? We're just hitting it. So it's getting faster and faster. It keeps coming back. And it comes back because it's our body's way of telling us that there's something to be concerned about. The problem with that is that we might be getting the wrong information. So anxiety in itself is not the problem. In fact, it can be quite useful. Let's think about something that you have to do that's important to you. Right? So maybe you're going for a job interview or you're auditioning for something like that. You feel nervous before you're about to do that. Maybe even the lead up, you're thinking, I don't think I'm good enough and I'm going to make a fool of myself. And the reason why you're feeling anxious is because it's important to you. You don't want to make a mistake. You don't want to be rejected because that is bad. And for our brains, we don't like rejection, right? It reminds us of danger from a long, long time ago. So our brains are a little bit unsophisticated and will tell us that this is a dangerous situation, and we're reacting as if there is danger. Even though in this scenario, going for a job interview, auditioning for a play or something like that, is not inherently dangerous. We're not going to die if we don't get the lead role in Romeo and Juliet. We might feel like it, but we're not actually going to physically die. But our brains can't distinguish between those two things. What they're seeing is rejection, not good enough, comparing myself to other people who are better than me, therefore I'm not part of the group, therefore I'm in danger, anxiety. And so we need some anxiety. We need a little bit of anxiety, the right amount, Goldilocks amount of anxiety if we're going for something that's really important for us. If we don't have anxiety or not enough, we don't care enough to put in an effort. And if we have too much, we're overwhelmed by it. But we have the right amount, we're motivated to do well, and this is okay. And we can normalize this feeling. It's fine for me to be feeling this way. Sometimes though we have anxieties about other things. So let's say socially, going somewhere where we don't know many people. Maybe we know the host and we've been invited to an event and we're thinking about, I won't know anyone, and then usually the thoughts there are, I'm going to make a fool of myself, nobody really wants to talk to me. Again, it's about comparing ourselves to other people. Everyone else will know people, they'll have fun, I won't be able to do anything, I'll be outside the group. Kicks off this little thing in our brain, it's trying to tell us to be safe. This is a dangerous situation, even though there is no danger, right? It's not comfortable. In fact, lots of people find it really uncomfortable to go to an event where they don't know many people, but it's not dangerous. But our body is telling us it's dangerous, so therefore we want to escape this feeling, we want to get rid of this feeling. So we avoid the party, or we drink alcohol before we go to give ourselves some Dutch courage. We do things, we minimize to get out of it. Maybe we go on our phone to sort of distract ourselves. And if you look around, you'll see lots of other people doing similar sort of things because it's uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable to lots of people to do this. So we're misinterpreting our signs from our brain as danger. Our brain is trying to keep us safe. So it's doing what it's designed to do, it's trying to protect us. But it's doing it in a way that is unsophisticated. So instead of engaging this whack-a-mole, just trying to smash as many of these moles as we can, and it's just going faster and faster and faster, these strategies that we used to use are no longer working in the way that we want them to work. Because if we avoid lots of parties, for example, maybe we stop getting invited. If we're not putting ourselves in a position, like say, for growth, to go for a job or something that's important for us, maybe we're feeling really stagnant in our careers, whatever it might be, the strategies are no longer working. It's causing us more harm. We're engaged in this race, this whack-a-mole race. They're just getting faster and faster and faster. We eventually can't keep up. You lose the game. So anxiety, though, is not a game. Not a game that we want to play. What we move to now is recognizing that my brain is trying to tell me something, and that may or may not be useful information, or it might be telling us in a way that is unhelpful. It's like that overly helpful friend that we might have who tells us about all the potential dangers. We're talking to them about how we're going to go on a trip overseas, and they tell us to watch out for pickpockets and watch out for this scam and watch out for that, and you think, oh great, now I don't really want to go. They think they're being helpful, but it's kind of unhelpful. Our brains are very similar. It's telling us about all the potential dangers that could happen so that we stay safe. Fantastic. But that might actually hinder us. So we can acknowledge that, we can normalize these things. We're noticing this is what's going on for us, noticing that we're feeling anxious, normalizing it. Of course, it feels anxious if I'm going for something that's really important, or I'm going out and I don't know many people. Lots of people feel the same way. This is understandable. And then we can start to move towards, is this something that I want to be doing? Is this important to me? Is this in line with the values that are important to me? And if it is, can I make room for the anxiety, the discomfort that goes with that, and move forward? Because I'll feel better afterwards. This doesn't necessarily get rid of the discomfort, but that's not the objective. It allows us to move forward in order to achieve the things that are important to us, to live the life that's important to us, by the values that are important to us. And there are other strategies that we can put in place that help us to manage it, but the strategies by themselves are not what the things that are going to help us to overcome anxiety. What helps us to overcome anxiety is to realize, what is the purpose? What is going on? And is this important for me to continue on through this? Okay, I hope that's been helpful for you. I'll see you soon.